للأفكار والرؤى حول مستقبل القطاع العقاري ودوره المحوري في دفع عجلة التطور في بلادنا. خير ما نبدأ به أعمال المنتدى آيات من الذكر الحكيم يتلوها القارئ جابر التميمي.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. والله جعل لكم من بيوتكم سكنا وجعل لكم من بيوتا تستخفونها يوم ظعنكم ويوم إقامتكم ومن أصوافها وأوبارها وأشعارها أثاثا ومتاعا إلى حين. والله جعل لكم مما خلق ظلالا وجعل لكم من الجبال أكنانا وجعل لكم سرابيل تقيكم الحر وسرابيل تقيكم بأسكم كذلك يتم نعمته عليكم لعلكم تسلمون.
أحسنت يا جابر وبارك الله فيك. إن المشهد الاقتصادي المتنامي في دولة قطر والتطور الكبير الذي تشهده البنية التحتية وما تتمتع به دولة قطر من استقرار سياسي واقتصادي جعلها بيئة عمل جاذبة مثالية للعيش والاستثمار، إضافة إلى الفرص العقارية الواعدة ومعايير الأمان العالية. هذا لها قصة أخرى وخفايا. فيديو قصير يبرز التقدم الرائع في قطاع العقارات في قطر والرؤية التي نسعى لها جميعا، فاسمحوا لي أن أخذكم في رحلة قصيرة عبر هذا الفيديو.
في قطر الصحراء لها قصة، وقصتها معروفة. هذه قصة المدينة، قصة وعد قطر. قطر مو بس العمران، قطر الإنسان. قطر فيها الفرص على مد النظر، مثل قطر البيت والوطن. في كل مبنى قصة، في كل ممر ماء
Welcome to paradise.
مع نهاية اليوم يستمر وعد المدينة. قطر تدعوك لاكتشاف مكان فيه أحلامك وطن. وهني تبتدي رحلتك.
نبدأ الآن بأول مراسم افتتاح المنتدى العقاري الثاني 24 بكلمة لسعادة عبد الله بن حمد بن عبد الله العطية وزير البلدية، فليتفضل مشكورا.
أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، الحضور الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسرني أن أرحب بكم في منتدى قطر العقاري بنسخته الثانية تحت شعار عقارات المستقبل. تتصدر قطر دول العالم في الأمن ومستوى الصحة وجودة الحياة ومبية كثيرة أخرى، كل ذلك بفضل رؤية حضرة صاحب السمو في مشاريع البنية التحتية وكذلك التشريعات الحديثة التي أسهمت في تهيئة بيئة جذابة للمستثمرين. ويبقى الاستثمار الأهم في تطوير الكفاءات والخبرات الشابة وجميع العاملين في القطاع العقاري. ويعد القطاع العقارات أحد أبرز وتعد قطر أحد 20 والنصف الأول من 2024 أكثر من 27 مليار ريال قطري. ونحن نفخر اليوم بأن نكون ممن يشهدون هذا التطور السريع والإنجازات المتتالية التي تحققها دولتنا الحبيبة قطر. ومن هنا يقع على عاتق الهيئة العامة لتنظيم القطاع العقاري ليس فقط المحافظة على هذا الإرث لبناء منظومة عقارية متكاملة ومستدامة للأجيال القادمة. الحضور الكرام، في ضوء هذه الإمكانيات الهائلة للقطاع العقاري في قطر، جاء القرار الأميري بإنشاء الهيئة العامة لتنظيم القطاع العقاري عقارات، التي بدأها الفعلية العام الحالي بهدف حوكمة هذا القطاع ودعمه وتحفيزه وبناء منظومة عقارية قوية ومستدامة مبنية على الشفافية والابتكار لتعزيز مكانة قطر كوجهة استثمارية عالمية رائدة في مجال العقارات. وفي إطار تحقيق هذه الأهداف تعمل الهيئة على العديد من المبادرات التي تسهم في تسهيل رحلة المستثمر، ومنها تطوير الخطة الوطنية للقطاع العقاري، تفعيل التشريعات والقوانين، إضفاء الطابع المهني على الخدمات لتعزيز الجودة سوف تنشئ الهيئة قنوات دائمة للتواصل مع جميع المعنيين بالقطاع العقاري المحليين لإبداء الرأي والمقترحات، وستقوم الهيئة بجمعها وتقييمها بهدف تطوير القطاع وتحسين أدائه. كما نعمل على تسهيل رحلة المستثمر وتوفير كافة المعلومات من بداية دراسة فكرة الاستثمار وصولاً إلى تملك العقار، وذلك من خلال المنصة العامة للهيئة. الحضور الكرام، لا يوجد أفضل من هذا المنتدى لتكوين صورة شاملة عن منظومة القطاع العقاري في دولة قطر، والوقوف على إمكانيات واستكشاف الفرص التي يقدمها. ولهذا ندعوكم لاغتنام هذه الفرصة ليكون منتدى قطر العقاري منصتكم لتبادل الخبرات والحصول على مستجدات القطاع العقاري، والتي ستقدمها الهيئة بشكل دوري خلال النسخ القادمة من المنتدى. وندعوكم لزيارة الجناح الحكومي الذي يضم عدداً من ممثلين الجهات الحكومية وكافة الضوابط والتفاصيل المتعلقة بالاستثمار العقاري في قطر، والاطلاع على المشاريع العقارية الاستثمارية بالمعرض المصاحب. وفي الختام أتوجه بالشكر لجميع الرعاة والإعلاميين الداعمين للمنتدى، وأجدد ترحيبي بالحضور الكريم، متمنياً لضيوفنا من كافة دول العالم إقامة طيبة في بلدهم الثاني قطر. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
سعادة وزير البلدية عبد الله بن حمد بن عبد الله العطية، شكرا لكم على هذه الكلمة. حضورنا الكريم، حان الآن الوقت للإعلان رسميا عن افتتاح منتدى قطر الثاني. هذا الحدث الذي يمثل خطوة جديدة في رحلتنا نحو مستقبل مشرق ومبتكر ومستدام لقطاع العقارات في قطر. حضورنا الكريم، إن هذا المنتدى يعد فرصة سانحة لدعم قطاع الاستثمار العقاري وبناء الشراكات والاطلاع على الرؤى وتبادل الأفكار ومعرفة ما هي التحديات. ومن المؤمل أن تكون مخرجات هذا المنتدى وتوصياته ضمانة لحلول مستدامة لتطوير قطاع العقارات وتعزيز دوره في الاقتصاد الوطني. ندعو أصحاب المعالي والسعادة الوزراء إلى القيام بجولة لافتتاح أعمال المنتدى، كما ندعو الحضور الكريم التزام أماكنهم حتى تنتهي هذه الجولة. شكرا لكم لحضوركم.
مساهمة السياحة في القطاع العقاري مع كل من المتحدثين سعادة السيد سعد بن علي الخرجي رئيس قطر للسياحة ورئيس مجلس إدارة فيزيت قطر، والسيد فتاح تامنس مؤسس ورئيس مجلس إدارة فنادق ريكسوس وذا لاند اوف ليجندز رئيس شركة SML للإنشاءات، والسيد أوليفر ريبلي المؤسس والرئيس التنفيذي لمجموعة هابيتاس، والسيد جيسون ليبمان الشريك المؤسس والرئيس التنفيذي للاستثمارات في أوريك. وتقدم الأستاذة سنفيا سادة Business TV Presenter at CNBC Arabia. Ladies and gentlemen, نحيطكم علما أن هذه الجلسة أو هذه الندوة ستكون باللغة الإنجليزية. نرجو لكم وقتا ممتعا.
Hello and welcome everyone to Qatar Real Estate Forum. My name is Cynthia Saadeh. I'm a business TV presenter at CNBC Arabia TV. I will moderate this panel where we will discuss the tourism's contribution into the real estate sector. First, let me introduce our speakers. Mr. Saad bin Ali Al-Kharji, Chairman of Qatar Tourism and the Chair of the Board of Directors of Visit Qatar. Mr. Oliver Ripley, Founder and CEO of Habitas Group. Mr. Jason Liebman, Co-Founder and CIO of Auric Road. And Mr. Fatah Tamensi, Founder and Chairman of Rixos Hotels and the Land of Legends and President of SML Construction Co. Let me start with Mr. Saad. In your opinion, what is the impact of tourism sector in driving real estate investments according to the National Vision 2030 in Qatar?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Cynthia. I'm very happy to be with you here today, and I would like to welcome my friends in Doha. First of all, as you know, our leadership recognizes tourism is one of the main pillars of diversification of our economy, and this put on our shoulders huge responsibilities and goals to deliver. As everyone here knows that by 2030 we have to reach 6 million visitors a year, and we have to increase our contribution to GDP to 12%, double the employment in this sector. And all these goals reflect directly on real estate and development here in our country. By numbers now we have as today, I think we are reaching these goals way ahead. As we speak today, our international visitors today we reach around 3.7. This is it means like 25% increase from last year, same period. And it's very promising and very encouraging for international and real estate investment in Qatar. As I see the relationship between tourism and real estate is not only interconnected, but it's real partnership between both sectors. We can deliver the future of real estate and the future of tourism, and this can draw increasement of number of visitors, reflecting the quality of life here in Doha and the quality of offering for everyone or residents here in Qatar. And with this partnership, I think tourism can tell the real estate sector what we need and identifying the shape or the design or the kind of service we are waiting from this sector can serve our goals. And changing some rules and regulations in partnership with the real estate authority, I think we are in very good and healthy relationship with them, and the discussion is ongoing by exchanging information and experience between both entities.
Yes, so also from your point of view, how can today government enhance infrastructure to boost tourism and real estate sectors and at the same time reduce the reliance on oil and gas sector in Qatar?
Obviously, when you see the type of, or the level of quality of our infrastructure, the smart technology, the eco-friendly buildings, the state-of-art airport, public transportation. All these things can boost our tourism and it will make it easy to reach our goals and to put Qatar as like destination of choice as we take Qatar one of the fastest growing tourism destination. All this develop, and by also enhancing the regulations about investment, buying properties here in Doha, can also welcoming a new investment in Doha, innovative investment in Doha, by improving our regulations and laws. And all this can drive us to increase our contribution to GDP, to make it less reliance on oil and gas, and will make huge benefit to our economy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Saad. I'd like to turn now to Mr. Jason. In your opinion, what trends are you observing in tourism sector that could impact also real estate sector in Qatar and also worldwide?
Thank you for having me. I was here first in Qatar 10 years ago, so it's my second time since, and it's just incredible to see everything, all the development, all the hotel properties here. It's been really fun to be here. So background on myself, we buy historic hotel properties that are often distressed, and we'll bring them back to life. We've been really successful in getting people to very off the beaten path locations like Montana. And the way that what we've been doing, and I think would be interesting here, is we create an all-inclusive experience. So guests come and pay per person per day, and for that fee, we're giving them, we kind of take all the brain damage out of putting together a really unique experience for them. Everything we do is anchored in experiences. So in Montana, we have in the summer, you come for horseback riding, fly fishing, in the winter for skiing. I think that one big trend is really about personalization. So I think our guests will pay a premium for us to really understand the intent and why they're there, to create bespoke itineraries. So we try to really understand the intention of guests, and if you can create that personalization of an experience, luxury is in the details, and we're able to get people coming back over and over again. And I think there's a lot of best practices there to share here. If you really understand the customer, oftentimes they have never been to Montana. Maybe like a lot of people here haven't. They come through the airport, but they haven't gotten off. So to the extent that we can get them coming back over and over again by understanding them, it's been really helpful for our business.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Jason. I'd like now to turn to Mr. Fattah. What role do you believe luxury hospitality plays in driving real estate development in Qatar?
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. It's always a pleasure to be back in Doha, where I feel like second home. Your question is very valuable, but I think those are totally two different, big, strong sectors. And the relation is not as easy as we think. It depends very much on the vision of the country. The 2030 vision is very obvious, but then we have to maybe open more how we can really specify the vision, and from top to down, how we can make it happen. Today, there are countries who are very successful by doing tourism. Like Spain is hosting 60, 70 million visitors, but Spain is not known one of the most successful real estate, development country. The same we can say for Italy, or we can name Turkey and Egypt. We are going to host this year 60 million visitors in our country, in Turkey, where the real estate sector is really in a big trouble. But there are also countries like Singapore, Dubai, who are doing very well on real estate, maybe Miami. So it depends what you really want. Otherwise, a hotel brand or luxury hospitality will not drive a real estate and will not make it happen. I am a developer and also a hotel operator. So how do we build more? Building more or selling depend on demand. Where does demand comes? Demand comes from 2-3 different sources. One, the increase on population. So if, like in my country, we have every year 1 million new people. So we have to build. Another demand comes, yes, the country is wealthy, but you're getting old. You had old properties, old houses. The country is getting richer, so you have to build new and sell it. And number 3, which is, I believe, a right question for Doha, you bring outsiders to live in the country. So how do you bring them? What drives them? Just as a tourist who spends 2 weeks a year, planned holiday, is not really the biggest buyer. Those are not the potential buyers. The potential buyers, who are the potential buyers? What the country or the city is prepared for. So I will, let's say, look at the vision of the city, let's call it, the programming of the city, and then the design which is reflected by vision and programming. Then you go to implementation, then you go to operation. So those 5 disciplines are very crucial to make a real estate destination very successful. I think we should speak about a destination which is covering tourism and real estate. Otherwise, yes, we are successfully doing well. We have a lot of hotels. How can we do better? Everything is going to work very easy. But having today, if we study very well the needs, the future, the problems of the societies, especially the problems what are faced in Europe, Doha, Qatar, I think, is built for all those problems. And to be is one of the best potential city in the best airport. You have the best airline. You have the best roads. You are one of the most probably the safest city in the world. In a lot of cities, you cannot walk. You know, and friends of mine, they warn me, don't go to London with your watch. So it's to that extent. In Geneva recently, I mean, I don't want to blame, but things happen to me. If I go to details, you will be shocked. Many people move out of UK because of some social issues where they don't want really their kids to study there. So are we developing a city, or are we developing real estate projects based on what? We want people to come for schooling. We want people to come for health. We want people to come for socializing. We want people to come for schooling. We want people to come for business. I mean, if we really have those directions very clear, and if we are marketing very well, and if our real estate developments are developed based on those parameters, then of course a luxury hotel brand will make a difference. Then people will choose where to get the best services, because at the end, hotel operators are service providers. We're good, so they select who is doing better cleaning, who is doing the better serving, who is doing the better gardening.
Yes,
but definitely the hotel operators are not the best developers. Developers are the one who has got the vision and who make things, the physical things happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fattah. If you want to talk more about the technology, I'd like to turn to Mr. Oliver. In your opinion, how important...
And AI seems like a buzzword. But I do think what's very interesting with digital real estate is how, one, we can attract people to come, two, how we can personalize the experience, and then how we can get them to transact. And I think what people are looking for now more and more is authentic travel, authentic experiences. And you can even see this in the trend with Instagram, that people are no longer making choices to travel because of Instagram, they're making choices to travel because of TikTok, because that's where the authenticity is, that's where the real story comes in. I was sitting with the CEO of TikTok last week, and he said that 60% of people that follow travel feeds interact and have bought through those feeds on TikTok. So it's becoming an increasingly way of being able to attract and bring people here. You know, in terms of the ability to be able to, again, I think the technology piece is very, very clear, but I think bringing people here is all about, also about the cultural programming that exists, because it's with culture that people move and travel. And I think that's why it's so important to see the success in which Doha is now having with the new programs, with the new events, You see recently what happened with the Coldplay concert in UAE. There were 300,000 people that were waiting to buy tickets for these concerts, people traveling from the whole to go there. So I think the interface of technology to be able to build awareness, the interface of technology to be able to personalize and customize experiences, but most importantly, travel is about human connection. And ultimately, I think what Doha has incredibly are the people, and the tourism here is really something that I'm very excited about.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Oliver. I'd like to hear again from Mr. Saad. If you want to talk a little bit about the challenges, in your opinion, what challenges do infrastructure projects face in meeting the needs of the real estate and tourists?
First, I'm happy to hear this from my brother Fattah, that you can walk around in Doha with your most valuable things with you. And I'm happy you're wearing your RM here in Doha. And for the challenges is, the country or the government invested heavily in this infrastructure to keep it operating clean, world-class, safe for everyone to use it. It is a challenge for a government to keep the standard high and to make it mention that not only the travelers can make this difference, but the city is really welcoming to people to move in and live here in Doha and work in Doha. There's a huge opportunities here. There is great potential by bringing people who work especially in AI and technology. It's very advanced systems we are applying here in Doha. And the economic environment is also very welcoming. So the challenges is how to promote this level of infrastructure worldwide, globally, inviting people to come and use such as conferences or events, or big events here in Doha, can deliver this message. Qatar become one of the best destination for tourists, for sports events. The World Cup became the catalyst of this development. We reached a very advanced level in very short time because of the World Cup. And this is the message also we are trying to send, that this region, if given a chance.
Thank you, Mr. Important is aligning with international standards for the growth of the real estate and tourism sectors in Qatar.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we have a large international group of clients that come from Europe and discover us. Our properties are in Montana and California. So I don't know, if I was talking about technology, we've been kind of taking a step back where when people come to our properties, we try to get them to disconnect from technology, which I think is internationally, where people are, even when they come to our restaurant, they check their cell phones, they don't have their cell phones. We don't have any televisions in our rooms, we have all record players. And in the world people love that from all around the world, where they kind of can take a breath and take a detox from technology. And I think that's been a kind of a brand standard internationally, where you have people coming in from different parts of the world that love that, love to, luxury to them is being able to take a horseback ride and bring that memory back with their family. And I think that's something that we're kind of weaving through all of our properties. For us here, we're primarily in, we're all in North America today, but we're excited to kind of bring what we do to the Middle East. And it's been really fun to just talk to people here and sort of understand what's working well here.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Jason. Mr. Fattah, in your opinion, how can collaboration between chain hotels and also between real estate developers enhance tourism in Qatar?
As I mentioned previously, developers are mostly the driver. So I believe a development vision set for Doha definitely will also attract a lot of luxury operators who will be willing to be part of it. It depends very much on the vision of the city, what they want to develop and which direction they want to go. you just asked about the challenges. I will also mention a bit about the challenges in the city. We are developer and operator in many different cities and countries in the world. So if it comes to challenge, I think this city has almost no challenge. Most probably the biggest challenge the city has, is too wealthy and a lot of nice things. Because in many places we build, we have no road. We build, we have no electricity. We build, we have no people. We build, we have no great airport. We build, we doesn't have great airline. So in this city you have everything together. Maybe dedication. And also a bit encouraging international developer to come to the city. It will make a big difference. Because I'm a developer also in neighborhood, let's say. It's all about noise. It's not, trust me, it's not about, how you call it, making a lot of money. The question is, let's go to this city, things are happening, and we're going to make money. That is something what we have to build out of Doha. Because today, I just recently checked the sales prices of real estate in Doha. Such a beautiful city. But if you look at the prices, it's undervalued, it's underpriced. So the question is, it's a big opportunity, big potential for the real estate developer, because the hotel operators are not developers. They don't invest on it. So one has to drag another one. And once the developer is in, developer is the one who comes with vision, with the risk, will get the luxury operators with him. And also, it will help to my dear friend, His Excellency, Mr. Saad, also to promote the destination. Because the brands make difference how to promote it. They are recognized worldwide. And that's something which will bring a new potential to destination. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Fattah. Mr. Oliver, if we want to talk about sustainability, in your opinion, what role does sustainability play in your projects and how does it impact both tourism and real estate sectors?
I think sustainability is no longer a choice. It's a way in which we need to accept as the new norm in terms of how we're developing, and sustainability in a way which creates these circular ecosystems as well. I think especially for young people choosing how to travel right now, finding brands that they trust, brands which represent the values, brands which represent sustainable practices are hugely important. And I don't think sustainability has to be something which costs more money. I think there are very interesting technologies out there right now which can allow us to be able to reduce our carbon footprint, to be able to choose the right building materials, to be which accounts for, I think, 60 or 70% of global carbon emissions in the world, but also thinking about how to create circular economies around the hotels in which we're building, investing into the local communities, creating jobs. The tourism industry, I think, accounts for close to 10% of global jobs in the world, and I think also close to 10% of global GDP. So I think there's a very important responsibility that we have as developers, as operators, to really put people first and to really think about the sustainability of our projects.
Yes,
I just wanted to add to something. One of our, in terms of sharing some best practices, we have a hotel in Palm Springs, California, and Palm Springs, it's been incredible. The community has really supported the hotels in the area with really great programming. Probably out of any market that we operate, like almost every week of the year, there's a different festival. One week is Art Week, and there's a Modernism Week, a lot of music festivals, and it's been incredibly critical to the success of the hotels there by having the support of the community, and we're very active in terms of how we even brainstorming and sitting there with the to come up with ideas. And I think Doha's success in sort of engaging with brands and coming up with the reasons to come here over and over again is going to be critical.
Yes, Mr. Jason, Mr. Saad, Mr. Fattah, and Mr. Oliver, thank you for being with us, and good luck in all your projects.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
شكرا للمتحدثين. الآن حضورنا الكريم لن ننتظر الغد، أمامنا الآن جلسة خاصة مع عقارات المستقبل مع سعادة المهندس خالد بن أحمد العبيدلي رئيس الهيئة العامة لتنظيم القطاع العقاري. عقارات ستبدأ الآن بدلا من تأجيلها إلى الغد. ننتظر فقط 5 دقائق حتى نستمع إلى الجلسة سويا. شكرا سعادة السيد سعد بن علي الخرجي رئيس قطر للسياحة ورئيس مجلس إدارة فيزيت قطر. شكرا للسيد فتاح تامنس مؤسس ورئيس مجلس إدارة فنادق لكسوس وذا لاند اوف ليجندز رئيس شركة SML للإنشاءات. شكرا للسيد أوليفر ريبلي المؤسس والرئيس التنفيذي لمجموعة هابيتاس، والسيد جيسون ليبمان الشريك المؤسس والرئيس التنفيذي للاستثمارات في أوريك. وشكرا جزيلا لهذه الندوة الماتعة. حضورنا الكريم، أهلا بكم مرة أخرى. بين الماضي، الحاضر، آفاق المستقبل، الأرض والاستثمار. ندعوكم الآن لحضور جلسة مميزة بعنوان عقارات المستقبل مع ضيفنا المميز سعادة المهندس خالد بن أحمد العبيدلي رئيس الهيئة العامة لتنظيم القطاع العقاري، ويحاوره السيد سيف العمادي وهو زميل في أهلا وسهلا بكم.
أهلا وسهلا، شكرا جزيلا. الحضور والضيوف الكرام، نرحب بكم إلى دولفين في عام 2018. في عام 2018 يعني كنت والدولية بشكل خاص في إدارة المشاريع لجذب الاستثمار الأجنبي بشكل خاص إلى دولة قطر، وصولا إلى يناير 2024 وتعيينك لرئيس الهيئة العامة لتنظيم القطاع العقاري. سعادة المهندس، الآن وكونك أنت رئيس في الهيئة العامة لتنظيم القطاع العقاري، القطاع العقاري ممكن يخفى على البعض بأنه يعتبر ثاني أكبر مساهم في الاقتصاد القطري بعد النفط والغاز. كونك الآن رئيس لهذه الهيئة، ما هي أهدافكم؟ ما هي التحديات التي ستواجهونها؟ وما هي الأهداف للمستقبل بإذن الله؟
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. طبعا أحب أرحب بالحضور الكريم سعادة الوزير. I would like to welcome our guests also from international guests to Qatar, and I wish you to have a successful and fruitful presentation. And I'm not sure about the translation, but I will be speaking in Arabic إن شاء الله. طبعا رجعتنا للدراسة والمهندسة التعدين. طبعا هاي كان تخصصنا على أيام يوم درسنا في أمريكا. طبعا كان إحنا وقتنا يا طب يا تعليم يا هندسة، يعني هذا كان الشاطر اللي يخلص علمي يا إنه يدخل طب ولا يدخل هندسة. طبعا أنا حبيت إني أدخل طب ترى في البداية، لكن البعثة تأخرت وغيرت ورحت هندسة.
سبحان الله، رب ضارة نافعة يعني.
فكان ماي فيرست اوبشن، يعني أول يعني شيء لي أنا كان المفروض إني أدرس طب. بس الحمد لله طبعا بعد دراسة الهندسة اشتغلت في قطر للطاقة حاليا 7 سنوات 8 سنوات، وبعدها دولفين للطاقة في الانجينيرنج سيكشن، يعني في القطاع الهندسي، وكذلك قطاع الاستثمار والبزنس ديفلوبمنت. طبعا بعدها انتقلت إلى قطر للتعدين كرئيس تنفيذي 2017 2018، وكنا طبعا مسؤولين عن استثمارات خارجية لاستقطاب المستثمرين الخارجيين خارج الدولة، وكذلك استثماراتنا كلها كانت في دول خارجية مثل الجزائر والسودان وكندا وغيرهم. طبعا دورنا الآن في هيئة تنظيم القطاع العقاري اللي أنشئت سنة 2023 وتعييني أنا صار سنة 2024. طبعا هو كان القطاع العقاري متطور عندنا، لكن لم يكن هناك جهة معنية بتنظيم هذا القطاع. فرؤية حكيمة من حضرة صاحب السمو بقرار أميري أنشئت الهيئة 2023 لأن دورها يكون تنظيم وتحفيز القطاع وكذلك تفعيل التشريعات والقوانين. فإحنا الحمد لله الآن بدينا في هذه الخطوة من الأشهر القليلة بدينا نفعل بعض القوانين، بس بديناها يعني التعرف على القطاع وناخذ الآراء المعنيين بالقطاع من مطورين ومستثمرين. فجلسنا عملنا مثل public consultation مع جميع القطاعات، فحبينا نتعرف على همومهم ومشاغلهم وإيش لأن أنت لو تاخذ كل جزئية، يعني إذا كان شخص أو القطاع عنده همومه ومشاكله، لكن يعني هاي بصفة عامة اللي احنا حابين ان نسوي، نكون مميزين وننظم القطاع هذا.
نعم. مهندس خالد، خليني انتقل الى المحور الاول في هذه الجلسة، نتكلم عن الاستثمار والسوق العقاري. في الآونة الأخيرة مرت دولة قطر بالكثير من التحولات، الكثير من التطورات على القطاع الاقتصادي بشكل عام، وأيضا بشكل خاص في قطاع العقاري. ومع حتى استضافة مونديال 2022 كانت هناك نقلة نوعية للاقتصاد القطري وللعقارات حتى بشكل خاص. الآن يعني كل هذه الأمور جعلت دولة قطر ولله الحمد بيئة جاذبة للاستثمار.
بحب يعني أنت تشوف المقومات الأساسية للحياة السليمة، أن يكون عندك أمن وأمان. بدون الأمن والأمان ما أعتقد أن لو تحط أي محفزات وتحط عندك أي شيء أن الشخص ممكن يعيش في بلد ما فيها هذه المقومة. وإحنا لله الحمد للسنة الخامسة على التوالي في مؤشر الأمن والأمان، يعني إذا الدولة الأولى على العالم من أقوى الدول في العالم في هذا الموضوع. أنا أشوف أن هذا الموضوع أساسي في استقطاب رؤوس الأموال واستقطاب الناس اللي ممكن يستوطنون ويعيشون ويكونون معانا في هذه الدولة. كذلك أنت عندك طبعا البنية التحتية، يعني ما شاء الله عندنا احنا بنية تحتية مميزة على جميع الأصعدة، تبداها من مطار الخطوط القطرية معنا اخواننا وهيئة السياحة، الدور اللي قاعدين يسوونه، الفنادق اللي عندك اعلى مستويات الفنادق. يعني انا جلست سمعت الجلسة السابقة الأخ سعد والفريق اللي معه والمحاورين قاعد يقول لك الآن في بريطانيا مثلا أنت تخاف تمشي ولابس ساعة. طبعا في الدوحة الحمد لله أنت بيتك مفتوح وسيارتك يمكن المفتاح داخل السيارة، والأمان هذا شيء مهم، لكن ما روجنا له بالطريقة الصحيحة. فكذلك يقع على عاتقنا في الهيئة أن نقوم بالترويج للأساسيات اللي هي مهمة للمستثمر الأجنبي أنه يفهم أن هذه الأشياء موجودة في قطر. والآن دور الهيئة هي اللي راح تكون النافذة الواحدة للمستثمر هذا أنه يسأل أسئلته ونجاوب عليه لجميع المتطلبات.
نعم. دعني أنتقل إلى مبادرات الهيئة العامة لتنظيم القطاع العقاري. طبعا هناك كانت عدة مبادرات كانت هدفها تنمية القطاع العقاري وأيضا تعزيز مكانته. خلينا نتكلم أكثر في تفاصيل هذه المبادرات اللي قدمتها الهيئة.
طبعا القرار الأميري حدد أنشطة الهيئة ب 12 نشاط. المبادرات اللي احنا ارتئينا ننفذها في خلال 2024 23-24 هي المبادرات الأساسية لانطلاق الهيئة، وخاصة القوانين. بدينا بالقوانين لأن الهيئة لها نظام، يعني هو ريجوليتر ومراقب على المنظم للقطاع هذا. فبدينا بالقوانين وتفعيل القوانين هذه اللي هي خاصة التطوير العقاري والبيع على الخارطة. هذه كلها تحتها تنصب مبادرات اللي هي مهمة لهذا القطاع. يعني أعطيك مثال، البيع على الخارطة أنت تحتاج أنك تعمل فرز مبدئي.
قلت به يعني من حديث كنا نتكلم عن الاستثمار والسوق العقاري في دولة قطر. ذكرت عدة عوامل جعلت دولة قطر بيئة جاذبة للاستثمار، كان منها موضوع الأمن وأيضا منها القوانين والتشريعات التي تضعها دولة قطر حتى تسهل عملية الاستثمار الأجنبي. خلينا نتشعب أكثر في موضوع السياسات والتشريعات التي تدعم القطاع العقاري وتنمي هذا القطاع.
أنا بعطيك شيء غير اللي احنا يعني كاتبينه في مبادراتنا. احنا فقط لو نروج يعني لو المستثمرين يعرفون نظام الضرائب اللي عندنا مشجع ومميز جدا عن أي دولة في العالم. يعني احنا ما عندنا اللي يسمونه الكابيتال جين، هذا ما في قطر، مش موجود. ترانسفير تاكس هذا مش موجود في دول الثانية. طبعا هاي أشياء تدفع عليها مبالغ كبيرة. الانكم تاكس حق القطريين والأجانب ما في عندك أنت انكم تاكس اللي هي ضريبة الدخل على الدخل، مش موجودة. فلو تاخذ نظام الضرائب بحد ذاته هذا جزء قوي للترويج، لأن هذا القطاع والدولة هذه جاذبة للاستثمارات. خذ أنت أسعار العقارات أنت اليوم والتطور اللي شهده، الحمد لله احنا في ثبات. قالوا الناس بعد كاس العالم ان الامور راح تنزل ويصير في دروب، يصير في كذا، بس الحمد لله احنا قطاعنا قوي وثابت، اساسياته قويه، الفاندمنتالز اللي احنا عند القطاع قوي. انت ايش تحتاج؟ تحتاج انفراستراكشر. كان الاخ فتاح في الجلسه السابقه قال احنا نبني في تركيا، ما عندنا يعني ما عندهم هالانفراستراكشر اللي موجوده في قطر، الشوارع، الهاي ويز، المينا، جميع الاشياء اللي انت تحتاجها كمطور موجوده. فقط نحتاج المطور الذكي اللي احنا لازم نوصل له كدوله ونستقطبه انه يكون يعني ينتج منتجات مطلوبه للبلد. احنا مشكلتنا ان بعض المطورين بس يقلد، يعني شافها ناجحه، الثاني بنى بدون اي جوده، بدون اي فيزيبيليتي ستدي. لكن لو كان في هناك مطورين عندهم رؤيه وعندهم يعني فيجن، بالعكس انا اشوف السوق فيه فرص وفي ديماند عالي، لكن يجب ان يكون هناك كذلك مطور ذكي واعي يقدر يستخلص هذه الفرص.
نعم. مهندس خالد، خليني انتقل معك الى التحول الرقمي. طبعا في العقد الاخير او في ال 15 سنه اللي فاتت جميع القطاعات بكل تاكيد لامست التحول والتطور التكنولوجي اللي صار في العالم بشكل كبير، وايضا دخول الذكاء الاصطناعي في عدد كبير من القطاعات. القطاع العقاري بكل تاكيد لامس هذا التطور، فخلنا نتكلم عن مستقبل التحول الرقمي في القطاع العقاري بشكل خاص.
طبعا التحول الرقمي من الفكره الى استثمار العقار، راح يكون عندك المعلومات اللي تحتاجها انت كمستثمر، عدد البيع مثلا، الايجارات كم، المنطقه الفلانيه، تضغط على منطقه الدفنه يطلع لك مثلا عدد الصفقات اللي تمت، مستوى الفوت بير يعني سعر المتر المربع، يعطيك البيان.
هذا الامر مهندس خالد لو تسمح لي، هذا كله موجود على المنصه صحيح؟
صحيح. موقعنا كذلك، الموقع الان كذلك الوسطاء العقاريين احنا راح نرخصهم وراح يكونون الريكومندد واللي هم مرخصين راح يكونوا موجودين في الموقع عندنا. فانت كمستثمر راح تدخل الموقع تلقى الوسيط العقاري اللي جريد A B C مثلا وتقدر تختاره. هذا وسيط يقدر يكون معتمد من الهيئة. راح تدخل كذلك للمشاريع وتشوف المشاريع اللي مرخصة اللي تكلمنا عنها، فيها ضمان، فيها فرز مبدئي، فيها مراقبة من الهيئة، فيها الاسكرو اكاونت. راح تلقاهم هم اللي اوريدي مرخصين في الهيئة. هذول معناها ان في مراقبة على الهيئة وفي ضمان من الهيئة. طبعا للمطور في بنفيت كبير انه راح يروج لها، يعمل لها الماركتينج ان هذه المشاريع جارانتيد، لان الاموال كل التدفقات النقدية راح تصرف فقط على هذا المشروع. مش مثل الآن حالي، الحين المطور عنده 5 مشاريع يدخل في حساب واحد يصرف عليهم كلهم. الحساب الضامن لا، تصرف فقط المبالغ اللي أنت تأخذها كداون بيمنتس من المستثمرين توضع في حساب ويصرف على هذا المشروع فقط. في حال لا سمح الله حصل أي تعثر تتدخل الهيئة، وممكن استبدال المطور أو المقاول بمطور ثاني لضمان حقوق المستثمرين. احنا طبعا يهمنا أهم شيء المواطن والمقيم والمستثمر، انه يكون ما يكون
في تفاصيل كثيره ركزتوا عليها،
اي ما يكون انه يستغل من اي طرف. هذه اشياء مهمه. طبعا كذلك بيكون المطورين او يعني الجهات الثانيه اللي هم الديفلوبرز هؤلاء بعد اتمام البناء او بعد مثلا ما وصلت مرحله معينه من البناء يجيك يطلب لك طلبات اضافيه. هذه الطلبات الاضافيه طبعا هي كوست وتايم ومحتاجه وقت ومحتاجه تعديلات، فكذلك هم عندهم وجهة نظر ويجب أن تحترم ويجب أن ينظر لحلها كذلك. الهدف هو المصلحة العامة لجميع الأطراف، وهذا هو دورنا كهيئة.
وهذا فيما يخص طبعا كان التحول الرقمي، وأظن حتى الباركود اللي موجود هو
طبعا في الباركود. احنا هذا الحين اللي يقدر .gov، هذا احنا حابين ان اي حد عنده اي يعني معلومات، حاب انه يعطي مقترحات، حاب انه يعني اي شيء يحب انه يعطينا اياه، نقدر احنا نطور من نفسنا كذلك.
يعني انتم ركزتوا على الكثير من التفاصيل وراح تستمعون للناس، وخلني يعني بمعنى اخر اقول لك انتم واكبتوا التحول الرقمي بادق تفاصيل.
اي طبعا
يعني
طبعا احنا استخدمنا كذلك الذكاء الاصطناعي موجود في الافاتار اللي موجود هناك. طبعا هو بدا يعني قريبا. الذكاء الاصطناعي محتاج الى يعني الداتا. احنا ما فتحنا للانترنت يعني للاوبن سورس، لان الداتا هي مش كنترولد ومش معروف مصدرها. حطينا له الداتا اللي احنا متاكدين من جودتها والقوانين اللي موجوده. فذا مور يعني اكثر.
الرؤيه الوطنيه لعام 2030، طبعا جميع قطاعات الدوله تعمل جاهده وتواكب الرؤيه الوطنيه لعام 2030. بالنسبه للقطاع العقاري كيف يواكب الرؤيه الوطنيه لعام 2030؟
طبعا في الرؤيه الوطنيه اللي احنا طبعا كلنا نمشي، هذه هي البوصله اللي لجميع القطاعات. احنا اخترنا بعض المبادرات على اساس ان تصب في دور الاستراتيجيه الوطنيه الثالثه، وطبعا منها استقطاب رؤوس الاموال الاف دي ايز، رؤوس الاموال الاجنبيه. فاحنا دورنا الان حطينا احد المستهدفات اللي عندنا ان نوصل الى 1,000,000 مستثمر، بوتنشل مستثمر. لو يعني هذه عن طريق المنتديات، عن طريق السوشيال ميديا، عن طريق ان احنا نذهب نعمل عمل مثلا في دول. ف يعني هذه واحده من المبادرات تصل الى اكثر من 1,000,000 مستثمر، انه يعرف المعلومات، يعرف وات كان وي اوفر، يعني عارف ان احنا كدوله قطر ايش موجود عندنا بالطريقه الصحيحه، الجناح يكون مناسب، يعكس ما هي دوله قطر بالكواليتي اللي احنا حابينها، بالمطورين يكونون موجودين معانا، حتى البنوك، بعض البنوك ان شاء الله راح يكونون موجودين معانا. فنذهب احنا نروج بالطريقه الصحيحه. انا اعتقد احنا هذا المجال ناقصنا الان، لكن شغالين عليه ان نروج بالطريقه الصحيحه. الموضوع الثاني طبعا الكوادر الوطنيه القطريه. احنا طبعا دورنا كذلك ان ننشئ ناس متخصصين وتدريب للكوادر الوطنيه القطريه، وخاصه والعاملين في القطاع كذلك. راح يكون في تدريب، ورش تدريب وورش عمل للمهنيين في القطاع نفسه، على اساس ان تكون طبعا احنا هذا وراح نسلمه لاجيال. فدورنا مش بس فقط ان نحافظ عليه، لكن نسلمه افضل من ما استلمناه للاجيال القادمه ان شاء الله، ويكون ارث مستدام. فاحنا مهتمين بجوده التعليم للكوادر، وكذلك ان جوده حتى البناء يعني المنظومه العقاريه تكون ذات جوده، على اساس انها توصل للاجيال القادمه مستدامه متطوره. وطبعا الموضوع الثالث اللي هو احنا تكلمنا على جودة الحياة، هو يعني العقارات، ان مثل اذا حصل الانسان على بيت مناسب ومنزل مناسب وحصل التسهيلات وما صار له اي تعقيدات بيروقراطيه في طريقه كمستثمر، راح هذه يعني هاي هو السعاده بالنسبه له. انا جاوني بعض المستثمرين طبعا حابين قطر وحابين يستثمرون، لكن الممارسات اللي تصير في بعض الإجراءات الصعبة واللي مش مفهومة لدى بعض الجهات هي طاردة وتنفر. لكن احنا دورنا الآن نقضي على هذه كلها إن شاء الله، ونوعد المستثمرين أن احنا راح نكون يعني نسهل جميع هاي الإجراءات.
من حيث انتهيت يعني سعادة المهندس خالد، ذكرت عدة مقومات كانت تميز قطر، أنها تجعلها بيئة جاذبة للاستثمار الأجنبي بشكل خاص. عدة عوامل ذكرتها تتوفر في دولة قطر ولله الحمد. أخيرا وقبل أن نختم، بالنسبة لفرص الاستثمار الواعدة في السوق القطري، هل من إضافة حول هذا الأمر؟
طبعا احنا الحمد لله الآن مطورين ما شاء الله، يعني عندنا بعض الشركات الوطنية العملاقة. عندك شركات، احنا ما شاء الله مطورين، عندنا شركات كبيرة، الديار، اليو دي سي، عندك بروة، وشركات يعني كذلك عاملين في وحتى البرايفت سيكتور اللي هم القطاع الخاص، جاوا في مبادرات الآن، وإحنا اوريدي شغالين معاهم على مشاريع جديدة راح تنزل السوق بضمان الهيئة ومرخصة من الهيئة على الكلام اللي احنا شرحناه الآن. فبتكون الوحدة لها حساب ضامن، لها سند مبدئي، لها ترويج كذا، يعني في فرص الآن، في مشاريع جاية للمستثمر المحلي وللمواطن وللمقيم. وطبعا احنا حابين بعد نوصل رسالة للمقيمين على دولة قطر وللمواطنين كذلك، أن يعني يستثمرون في هذا القطاع، لأن القطاع لما نروج له بالطريقة الصحيحة أنا أتوقع أنه بيكون الديماند عالي جدا على القطاع العقاري في قطر. وطبعا بحكم الكوارث اللي صايرة الآن اللي حوالينا، بيكون في ناس حابة أن يكون لها مكان للعيش بشكل كبير. واحنا طبعا دورنا ان نختار يعني الفئه الصحيحه اللي ممكن ان احنا نستقطبها للعيش في دوله قطر، انها تضيف للمجتمع القطري، وتضيف يعني يكونون جهات وعوائل تكون يعني من الانواع اللي هي ممكن تعطي اضافه للمجتمع.
من القطاع العقاري كنا سعداء بهذه الاستضافه، ويعطيك العافيه.
الله يعافيك، شكرا.
ايضا الشكر موصول لكم الضيوف والحضور الكرام.
إذا تميز في نظام الضرائب، وجود هيئة كضامن ومساند للمواطنين والمقيمين والمستثمرين في عملياتهم الاستثمارية، وجود منصة رقمية فيها الكثير من الخدمات، وجود وطن آمن للعيش والاستثمار. شكرا سعادة المهندس خالد بن أحمد العبيدلي على هذه المعلومات القيمة. أما الآن حضورنا الكريم ندعوكم إلى ندوة بعنوان تأثير التكنولوجيا على القطاع العقاري في تمام 1 ظهرا. حياكم الله جميعا. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. Let's welcome on stage our speakers for a session called The National Economy, Development and Investment Opportunities with our moderator, Mr. Russell Coach. And our speakers are as follows. سعادة الشيخ محمد بن حمد بن فيصل الثاني، الرئيس التنفيذي لهيئة المناطق الحرة في قطر، وسعادة الشيخ علي بن الوليد الثاني، الرئيس التنفيذي لوكالة ترويج الاستثمار في قطر، والسيد يوسف محمد الجيدة، الرئيس التنفيذي وعضو مجلس الإدارة هيئة مركز قطر للمال. أهلا وسهلا بكم.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Well, the introductions have been made, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. The one they left out was me, so I'm going to just take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Russell Couch. I came to Qatar 2006. I was part of the launch team at Al Jazeera English News. 2008, my wife and I started our own business, which we still have, thankfully going strong. 2010, we bought our first property, which we still have. We're now contemplating investing in a second business and buying a second property as well. So you got the right man for the job. Now, we're going to be looking at how Qatar is emerging as a global destination for investment in the real estate sector and how that ties in with Qatar's national development strategy and the challenges ahead. Now, they say dreams remain wishes without a plan. And as we know, Qatar's always had big plans, a clear vision for the future, a prosperous economy, and carefully cultivated relations with the wider world. It all adds up to unrivaled, unparalleled opportunities for foreign investors. We've got three of the guys here right at the cutting edge of what's going on here in Qatar. Gentlemen, welcome to the discussion. Thank you for your time. Let me start, if I may, with Sheikh Ali. Sheikh Ali, Qatar's being embraced as a second home for many international companies and investors alike. Tell us about the role Invest Qatar's playing here and the support you're offering to foreign investors.
Thank you, Russell, and I appreciate being here today at the forum and at this panel. So the Investment Promotion Agency is a national agency that's responsible for promoting and facilitating foreign direct investment into Qatar. We do that via three main ways. The first is by promotion, so in terms of advertising, promoting Qatar as an investment destination, whether through events or through media. The second is through facilitation. So you mentioned you started your business here, but for a prospective investor that wants to find out more about what sectors he may invest in, does he need a partner, which platforms can accommodate him, whether the Qatar Financial Center or the Free Zones or Media City and others. We serve as that main facilitating body. And third, we have a big research and policy advocacy role where we monitor developments in the business environment and try to promote changes in regulations and policies as well to make Qatar more competitive and to make it a better place for businesses.
Yeah, transparency and trust, obviously always key. Sheikh Mohammed, let's turn to you. You're at the forefront of contributing to a business-friendly ecosystem at Qatar Free Zones Authority, a one-stop shop, really, if you like, for the setup and management of foreign businesses, and also real estate and land offerings too. Now, what role does Qatar Free Zones Authority continue to play in advancing Qatar's integrated business ecosystems?
Well, first, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Russell, for the introduction. The Qatar Free Zones Authority is essentially a one-stop shop regulatory authority and serve as a gateway for foreign direct investments into Qatar. We work in close collaboration with our investors to develop tailored regulations for them to seamlessly connect to their global operations. And we do that alongside our partners, like the Investment Promotion Agency and the Qatar Financial Center, whom I have the pleasure with sharing this panel here with today. So we operate 2 free zones, our airport free zone, Ras Abu Fantas, and our seaport free zone, Al Hul. Both zones are connected via virtual corridor. And what that means is you'll only need to be cleared by customs once, therefore making the transport of goods much more efficient. In terms of our real estate options, we offer diverse solutions from serviced land, ready-built facilities, including our light industrial units, regional distribution hubs, our MRSA and maritime warehouses. These are highly sought after and in demand. We have 54 in our Ras Abu Fantas free zone and 44 in our Al Hul free zone, as well as state-of-the-art office facilities in our Business Innovation Park. We also have a dedicated investor relations team that supports with all the business requirements, from setting up a bank account, visa applications, as well as any necessary business permits. And what that does is leaves the investors to solely focus on his business. And that's what we really look for. We want to be part of their growth story.
So we're building a picture here: trust and transparency, ease of doing business. Mr. Yusuf, let's talk more about real estate development and investment. Tell us about the role the Qatar Financial Centre plays in this sector, how that aligns with Qatar's national vision, and the legal and regulatory frameworks that are in place to reinsure and protect investors.
Thank you for having me, Russell. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. The Qatar Financial Centre is a financial and business center that was established in 2005 mainly to develop the financial services sector, but also to contribute to the overall economy. The way we are structured is, I think, what makes us interesting. The QFC is the brand. The actual makeup is an entire infrastructure that contributes to the development of foreign direct investment. And I'll explain in a bit how the real estate sector plays into that as well. Right. But we have 3 independent institutions. We have the authority, Qatar Financial Centre Authority, which is the legal and tax environment. You can think of it as a mini ministry, but we operate under English common law, and we only specialize in certain sectors, whereas the ministry covers all the sectors in the state of Qatar. But the main sectors in the Qatar Financial Centers and asset management, and then you have the non-financial sectors, which is professional services, and that's where real estate has a role. But the authority, again, the mini-ministry, operate under English common law. We have our own employment office, we have our own immigration office, we have our own data protection office, and we have our own tax environment as well. So all the legal structures and the corporate registration happens within the authority. We have an independent board of directors chaired by the Minister of Commerce. Then we have the Qatar Financial Centre Regulatory Authority, which is an independent regulator to regulate and supervise all the financial activities that are registered in the Financial Centre Authority. And again, that's banking, insurance, and asset management. So you can think of the regulator as a mini central bank without the monetary policy. So you have an operator, a regulator, and then you have an independent judicial environment, which is Qatar International Courts and Dispute Resolution Center. We have the civil and commercial courts for any disputes amongst QFC companies or QFC companies and their counterparts. And you have also a regulatory tribunal for any appeals against QFC decisions. So this entire system is called the Qatar Financial Center. We usually market Qatar as a dual jurisdiction. So you have mainland, which is mainly the QFC and some of the other platforms. And we currently have more than 2,000 companies registered in the Qatar Financial Center. And the real estate component, I think, is what we're talking here about. And I'll get into that shortly. But mainly, real estate investments can happen through the Qatar Financial Center platform with this entire ecosystem. So investors who invest in real estate can either invest through real estate funds, and we regulate those funds in the KFC, or they can do direct investments into real estate through limited liability companies established within the Qatar Financial Center environment as well. So I think the ecosystem and the infrastructure is very important to ensure transparency and security of investments, especially foreign investments when it comes into investing into the Qatar.
So from the small investor to the big business, we've got regulation, international best practice, and dispute resolution. A lot of assurance there from Qatar Financial Centre. Sheikh Ali, let's turn back to you. Qatar's government spared no efforts in positioning the nation as the ultimate investment destination. Let's talk big picture for a moment. That's where you're placed. World-class infrastructure, cutting-edge digital ecosystem, a competitive tax system, a multicultural pool of talent, and let's face it, gentlemen, an exceptional lifestyle. Tell us more about how QFC plays into all of that, the Invest Qatar plays into all of that.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty broad question, but let me frame it this way and try to simplify it. If you look at Qatar's growth story, it starts out with the development of the hydrocarbon sector and some primary industries. The second stage of that was a development of the country's infrastructure, which I would say culminated with the World Cup in 2022. And now the third stage, which is the one that has been announced in the new third national development strategy, which obviously you can look at that. There are several targets, maintaining a GDP growth target of 4%, 2% labor productivity, averaging 4% in terms of government expenditure on research and development. And the primary sectors that have been targeted in the strategy, financial services, manufacturing, logistics, and ICT. But really what kind of underlines all this and what is central in the strategy is the growth of human capital. If you look at Qatar traditionally, where kind of hydrocarbons played the leading driver of growth, and you've been subject to price fluctuations in that sector. To build a more resilient and robust model, we really need to invest in our own human capital. And you see that investment through education, healthcare, creating an environment that can attract and retain talent. And the government, I think, is focused on building upon that and having that being the most significant growth driver into the future. You can see many countries which don't have many natural resources, but they can grow on the basis of their own human capital. And I think Qatar targets that as an eventual outcome where kind of our human capital innovation could be that main driver for growth.
Sheikh Mohammed, let's turn back to you. The Qatar's free zones are described as the world's gateway to Qatar. Tell us about the accomplishments making this possible, the focus on public-private partnerships, and how this fits in, as we were saying here, with the third phase of Qatar's national development strategy.
So Qatar is unique in its one integrated family approach to attracting investments. And we are proud to be part of that family. So based on investors' business interests, the Investment Promotion Agency would direct them to the relevant platforms, such as the Qatar Financial Center or the Qatar Free Zones. And what we then do is we scope out the project. We facilitate the feasibility study. We conduct the technical due diligence to really ensure the appropriate real estate is put forth to the investor. In relation to the Qatar National Development Strategy, we are focused on diversifying the economy through three key sectors, I would say: manufacturing, logistics, and within the IT and digital space, as Sheikh Ali just mentioned. But we're also looking to enable knowledge transfer, and we do this by enabling public-private partnerships. Allow me to elaborate with two examples. Wasco is one of two coke piping companies, largest coke piping companies in the world, and they are one of our earliest tenants. They have partnered with Qatar Energy under their Tawteen initiative to supply the Northfield expansion project. Today, we see them expanding in our Al Free Zones into complex activities, leveraging really on their know-how and the capabilities they built over the years. Another good example is ABB E-Mobility, a global leading charging solutions company. We have recently inaugurated their facility in our Al Free Zone. They're doing charging station assembly from Qatar, and they've partnered with Ashghal to roll out these charging stations across Doha, including in the largest charging bus depot in the world, in Lusail City. And their presence really brings knowledge into Qatar. And what that does is it helps us achieve Qatar's sustainability goals through the electrification of the public transportation system. And that's what we're really focused on in the next 6 years.
I want to just take a moment to back this up with some facts and figures. I've got many, but I'm just going to pick through a few here to further underline Qatar's economic resilience and stability. Moody's Investors Service has upgraded Qatar's credit rating to AA2 with a stable outlook. That's making it one of only 4 countries worldwide to achieve that coveted grade. And Fitch, by the way, is AA rating. Qatar's enjoyed 6% average GDP growth over the past 15 years. It's ranked 4th globally for economic performance, 3rd globally for safety and security. It's ranked 1st globally for general infrastructure and 1st globally for internet speed, by the way. The list goes on. Mr. Youssef, what are some of the initiatives you're looking at in the real estate sector to further drive this progress and innovation, and also to provide added value for investors?
So, Russell, we're a financial and business center, and our legal environment allows investors to invest in real estate, and I'll get to that in a bit. But you know, the entire real estate, the development of real estate is part of the national development strategy indirectly, because the national strategy talks about the 7 strategic national outcomes, and one of that is economic sustainability. And all of us here around the panel are directly involved in economic sustainability, which gives us aggressive targets that we have to fulfill within the next 7 years. And you know, the targets, as we know them from the NDS3, is the growth of 4% in the non-hydrocarbon sector, including the attraction of $100 billion of FDI in the next 7 years. And all of us are involved in achieving that target. And within, of course, the clusters, which are named in the National Development Strategy, which is manufacturing, logistics, and tourism, real estate is indirectly in every single one of those clusters, because to develop, you know, manufacturing and logistics and tourism, there's always an indirect impact on the real estate sector, because all these companies eventually attract investment and attract manpower, and that has an indirect impact on the real estate sector. But from a Qatar Financial Center perspective, we provide the legal environment towards investing in real estate. And I think it's very important to have a sound legal environment to allow foreign investors to invest into real estate with a peace of mind and with a secure type of environment. And what we provide in the Qatar Financial Center is specific structures to allow investors to isolate legal and financial risks. And I will list a couple. As you know, the traditional way of investing in Qatar has always been investing directly into real estate, either through your name, which I think carries a lot of legal risks with it, or through LLCs. But there are a lot more sophisticated ways of investing in real estate, which is called ring fencing. Special purpose vehicles, for example. We are the only platform in Qatar which allows for the establishment of special purpose vehicles, and it's important for real estate investors to be able to isolate their real estate investments into special purpose vehicles, to be able to manage, first of all, any financial liability that may happen from any future, for any future risks that may happen to those investments. So special purpose vehicles is one way to isolate and manage those risks. We also allow for holding companies, and a holding company can manage a multitude of special purpose vehicles, and you can basically contain each real estate investment in each special purpose vehicle, which will eventually be housed within a holding company, which further isolates the legal and financial risks, specifically when it comes to leverage and debt investments. So holding companies can be established in the Qatar Financial Center as well. We also have trust structures, and trust structures are usually used in developed markets to isolate and manage the risk as well. Usually you have a truster which basically writes the or manages the investment through a trustee for the benefit of a third party beneficiary. So you manage the entire real estate investment between third parties, and usually it's used first of all to manage the risk, and to also it also helps the investor in terms of not wanting their investments to be public and to be a bit more private in terms of listing those investments. We also allow asset management funds, and asset managers can set up funds to invest in real estate as well, and those are a bit more regulated and are open mostly for more than one investor, but also it allows retail investments into real estate as a sector. So in summary, we allow basically multiple legal structures within the Qatar Financial Center environment to allow investors to allow real estate to be a lot more accessible towards retail investors, high net worth individuals, and sophisticated investors as well.
Yeah, thank you. Legal status is so important. Sheikh Mohammed, turning back to you again, we're going to move on now to challenges. And they do say the bigger the challenge, the bigger the risk, the higher the reward, the greater the success. So what do you see as the challenges Qatar Free Zones Authority faces as a global destination for foreign direct investment?
So the global economy and supply chains have seen disruptions due to COVID and other geopolitical conflicts. These are major challenges to FDI flows. However, I think there's a silver lining here for Qatar. Two things have really become apparently important to me: reliability and efficiency. And Qatar is reliable. We have proven to be reliable by delivering a successful World Cup against all odds, but also by building the world's best airlines, Qatar Airways, one of two airlines that has not stopped flying during COVID. This is supply chain disruptions and the investors' air logistics hubs. And so investors look for efficient and reliable hubs to redirect their supply chains from, and Qatar Free Zones can serve that need. We have thankfully built and added another 20 more units to serve as regional distribution hubs, which we have inaugurated earlier this year. These are more enhanced units, and we've already accommodated FedEx and DHL's new line of business into Qatar in these units, and we're looking to announce many more in the future. So yes, it is a challenging time. However, we are hopefully looking at it from a positive lens and trying to overcome them, hopefully.
Thank you. I'm going to come back to you in a moment, Mr. Sheikh Ali. But Mr. Yusuf, I'm going to have the last word with Invest Qatar. But Mr. Yusuf has also said that you only improve through challenge. Do you see the many challenges as opportunities to innovate, seek solutions, to reinsure investors, and ultimately instill peace of mind at the Qatar Financial Center?
Yes, I mean, we definitely innovate, specifically when it comes to real estate. We have recently launched our digital assets rules and regulations. And within that, I think we see a massive opportunity in the real estate sector, because if you look at the real estate sector today in Qatar, there's obviously an oversupply, which we think through innovation could be turned into an opportunity. Tokenization, I think, is the new word when it comes to real estate, tokenizing real estate. And I think there's a massive opportunity through tokenization within the Qatar Financial Center environment to allow, to reduce entry, to lower entry barriers into the real estate sector, increase liquidity, offer retail access into the real estate sector, and allow the liberalization and democratization of real estate into Qatar's economy. What we are trying to do differently within the Qatar Financial Center is use the corporate registration within the financial center to allow the tokenization of SPV shares, which will allow us to contain any tokenization within the Qatar Financial Center environment, which will allow us to innovate without the need to change rules and regulations in the broader economy. So rather than having to change laws within the Ministry of Justice, for example, or the Ministry of Commerce, we want to use the QFC as a test lab to allow the tokenization of shares within the QFC and allow certain SPVs within the QFC to own real estate and then tokenize the real estate shares through the tokenization of SPVs within the Qatar Financial Center. We want to test that before we broaden this experiment. We have set up a digital assets lab, and within that lab we will allow service providers to bid with their technologies, and we'll have to figure out who will be able to provide the best technology to tokenize private shares, and then adopt that within the QFC environment and test it. And if it does prove successful, what we will have is the ability to tokenize massive real estate projects and allow a lot more retail access, the liberalization of real estate through those tokens, which will be traded on a special platform within the Qatar Financial Center, and then perhaps adopt it in the greater exchange by coordinating with Qatar Exchange also to allow those tokens or those digital tokens to eventually also trade on the exchange. So to answer your question, yes, everybody is innovating. We have to also innovate, but we want to do it in a contained environment, test it, measure it, before we allow a broader mandate to take place.
There's a lot to talk about there. But we're drawing to a close now, Sheikh Ali. I want to finish with one of your, I'm told, one of your favorite sayings: a rising tide lifts all ships. Now one of my favorite, some positive pressing future challenges and the pursuit of a diversified and sustainable economic destiny for Qatar.
I think I'll pick up on something Mohammed mentioned. Countries like Qatar, and you can take other examples, Singapore, Ireland, we're subject to disruptions in global value chains and also subject to regional and global geopolitics.
Right.
And there's another. I mean, first, the GCC remains the bright spot. And what happens there has positive impacts here. And secondly, you see that recently signing a free trade agreement with South Korea and a number of other agreements in the pipeline. So while this remains a challenge, I see very positive kind of underlying trends that will continue. And as you mentioned, I mean, all boats rise with a rising tide. So that's a well-known saying. It's not mine, but I think it's one that is pertinent to what's happening here.
No, for sure. Thank you, gentlemen. Well, gentlemen, fascinating discussion contributing to a positive picture, I think we'll agree, of Qatar as a thriving and innovative destination for foreign investment, and how the real estate sector is contributing to the growth of the national economy. My thanks to Sheikh Ali Al Walid Al Thani, CEO of Invest Qatar, Sheikh Mohammed bin Hamad Al Thani, CEO of Qatar Free Zone Authority, and Yusuf Al Jada, CEO of Qatar Financial Center. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, for your thoughts, for your knowledge, and for all your efforts. Thank you.
Session for today, حضورنا الكريم، نود التنويه على أن هذه كانت الندوة الأخيرة لهذا اليوم. ابقوا معنا، يمكنكم المشاركة في ورش العمل المقامة في القاعات الأخرى، فقد ادخلوا على الموقع واختاروا الورشة المناسبة. Ladies and gentlemen, just we would like to announce that this was the last session, and enjoy the workshop in the selected halls. Just go to the website and go for the selected or preferred workshop you like. نراكم غدا بإذن الله تمام 10:00 لنستكمل الندوات الخاصة بمنتدى قطر